Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the main event. Tonight, we're going to talk about Survivor Series 1989, the WWF's Thanksgiving night tradition. Yes, it is. You bring back the Survivor Series, like the real Survivor Series. Like, it's once a year. It's once a year. What's the big deal having everybody fight in an elimination match once a year? Like, seriously, what? You know what Survivor Series is now? It's the same generic shit that they have like Payback and Fastlane. It's all it. It has a prestigious name of Survivor Series. It'll have one elimination match. That's it. And then the rest of it is just the same generic bullshit you watch every other month anyway. So, just saying. Just change your shit up a little bit. Bitches. So anyways, let's go back to November 23rd, 1989. We're at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois, and yeah, this is probably in front of a little over 15,000 fans. And the main event is an elimination match between the Heenan family and the Ultimate Warriors. Alright. Now, I'm not going to say, cause I harp on every time we hit Survivor Series, but, you know, it is my favorite pay-per-view, especially these early ones. But you take the elimination match, and then you add the fact that I've always been fascinated when a manager would compete. Like, I don't know, there's something about that just always, like as a kid, I was always fascinated by that. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of cool, you know, because it's like, part of you wants to see him get his ass just handed to him. Like, straight up, just get his ass handed to him. So, yeah, this match, you know, kind of hits on two levels for me, you know, especially when I was a kid. You know, not so much now, I guess, but, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, yeah, Heenan's in this? And it's an elimination match? So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get some build up out of the way right now. Now, the Ultimate Warrior at this point, you know, has been feuding with Rick Rude for the entire year of '89. Like literally, that's been his feud. It started, you know, the showdown, pose down. I don't know what the fuck they did. They were posing at the Royal Rumble. Of course, it ended with Rude attacking him. They would go on to fight each other at not just WrestleMania 5, but also at SummerSlam 89. And they would trade the Intercontinental title back and forth. So, but SummerSlam, Warrior took that victory and ended the feud, at least for now. So, but he was still pretty pissed, I guess, at Heenan more than anything else. So that was kind of the catalyst for this feud right here. So, the Survivor Series captains were chosen, and it would be Ultimate Warrior captaining his team against Andre Giant, because let's face it, he was the alpha male of the entire Heenan family. Alright, so Haku would join up with Andre Giant because, you know, he's a member of the Heenan family as well, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart joined with the Ultimate Warrior, which is really weird because I was like, why did they, like, were they trying to tease a fucking split with the Hart Foundation? Like 2 years before they actually did the split? Like, it made no sense why they split them up here at all. I guess other than to just kind of test it out and see what it'd be like. But then it was kind of weird doing that too because it's like they're still in tag matches, so you're not really splitting them up out of their environment. But it made sense that like Anvil of the two went to the Warriors team because Anvil's just batshit crazy also. So he fit in pretty good with that team, or at least with the Warrior. So yeah, and then of course the final two teams that would kind of round out these, you know, these teams was the Brainbusters and the Rockers. They've been feuding for, you know, a good part of the year as well. They met on Primetime Wrestling like a few weeks before, and of course Brainbuster was still a victory. And then of course the rematch took place on Saturday Night's Main Event, and I actually remember that match, and damn good. Unfortunately it ended in a double count out, so nothing was settled. So anyways, Brainbusters, of course, they were managed by Heenan, so it was just a no-brainer. They would join the Heenan family, and then, of course, the Rockers joined up with the Warriors. So, yeah, there it is. Now, when the Heenan family came out, though, there was no Tully Blanchard. There was just Bobby Heenan suited up, ready to wrestle. Now, I'll throw out the storyline, the kayfabe reason, then I'll throw out the real reason. Now, storyline-wise, there has been dissension within the Heenan family, you know, for a while now. Proof of that was the fact that Rick Rude, in his match, that he was even the team captain of, the Rude's Brood, Heenan was nowhere to be found. Like, he did not accompany his man out there at all. And then, of course, there was some fighting backstage and whatnot. And anyways, match rolls around, and Tully Blanchard's been benched, and there's Bobby Heenan in his place. And of course, Ventura kind of made the comment, well, you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So that was kind of that was the explanation given, was just like, you know what, he's fed up, and he's going to make sure for a fact. Because what better way to do it than subbing ring yourself when you're not even trained or whatnot. So, I know he was a wrestler a long time ago, but, in this, he was clearly just a manager at this point. So, but anyway, so that was the reason given. Now, what really happened was our friend Tully Blanchard was a fan of cocaine, and he failed a drug test, so he was suspended. So that was the real reason right there. So anyways, let's get to the actual match. Now, the Heenan family's out there, and out come the Rockers and Anvil. And when they get out there, the fight breaks out. Not so much with Heenan. Heenan would run and hide, but the Rockers and Jim would take out Haku and Anderson. But it was Andre that would ultimately beat the shit out of the rest of them and clean house. And out came the Warrior, coming to the ring like a fucking freight train. Runs in there, bell rings, and he clotheslines Andre over the top ropes, out to the floor, and he's fucking out. His teammates can't revive him, they can't wake him up, and they sure as hell can't pick him up. And of course, 110 count later, Andre is counted out. Now, we all know the real reason Andre took out early was at this point, especially at this point, his health was horrible. The fact that he's still out there amazes me today. But he was a draw. Like, he really was, And as a kid, I didn't know he had health problems. Like, when I was a child watching this stuff, to me, it was just like, no, he's a badass. Like, yeah, he's walking funny, but that's just because he's so big, You get near him, he'll crush your ass, So to me, it made sense as a child. I had no idea he had health problems. But of course, that was his way of being in the match, in the main event, drawing it, and then of course taking the easy way out early on, and no big deal. And at the same time, it made Warrior look even more awesome because once again, as a kid, I just see the Ultimate Warrior fucking comes down like a lightning bolt, and dude, he slays a giant in under a minute. That's what I saw, and it worked. And dude, the fans went fucking nuts. So we're down to 4-3. Or as Grillo Monsoon would say, 4-2, because Heenan's not a wrestler, so he didn't even count him in this. And it pretty much was 4-2. It was mostly Arn and Haku fighting the others. Heenan would jump in every now and then, but it wasn't much. He'd get a couple kicks in, get scared, and run back out. They did manage to take out, to Haku and Arn Anderson's credit, they did take out Jim Neidhart and Jannetty. In fact, Jannetty eliminated the best because they actually let Heenan do the pinning. And it's awesome because Jannetty's been defeated by Bobby the Brain Heenan, which is fucking tits. So anyways, they did do that. However, at this point now, Arn Anderson, especially Arn Anderson, not so much Haku, but Arn Anderson is getting pissed that it's those two carrying the match and Heenan ain't doing shit. And dude, they're literally yelling at each other at this point. And it's great because, we know... Now we know, anyways, that Anderson and Blanchard was on their way out, anyways. Blanchard got suspended, so it just made it easier to get rid of him. But Arn Anderson, this was going to be his last match for WWF, so he was on his way out, and it just made sense that this is how they go out. And as a kid, I didn't know any of this shit. Like, I didn't know people were under contracts. I just honestly thought wrestlers would just come and go as they please. Because whatever, and I just always assumed that that's the reason he left. They left WWF was because fucking Heenan was being a douche. So they're like, fuck you, we're out of here. We're going back to NWA. Which means I wasn't going to see him ever again. But anyway, but it kind of starts there. Now, I believe Michaels eliminates Haku, but then Anderson eliminates Michaels. And that's kind of cool. You had Michaels and Warrior, like the last two people on their team for a little bit. Two future Hall of Famers, main event in this motherfucker. Of course, then Shawn Michaels was like a little fucking tag team guy, so, didn't cross our minds he would one day be the showstopper. But anyway, so now it's 2-1, and then the Warrior just... At this point now, Anderson is getting more pissed off at Heenan, but of course, Warrior just destroys Arn Anderson and takes him out, leaving Warrior and Heenan in the ring. And dude, it was great, because you're just like, yes, finally. a year, like literally, because Heenan cost Warrior the title, the IC title at WrestleMania 5, like hooked his leg and held it down and shit. So Anderson's walking away. Heenan's like, get back here, get back here. And of course, Anderson's not coming back. And of course, Heenan just gets his ass handed to him, and it was wonderful. And that's one thing no one really talks about, because Bobby Heenan did have a wrestling background. Like, he was a wrestler first, and then he would go on to become manager. Dude can bump. The dude could bump. Dude, he was like hitting the corner like Kurt Angle, or not Kurt Angle. Sorry, Kurt Hennig. Like Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair. Like, literally just, he'd hit it and bounce and flip over and fucking flip. Like, dude, like twice he takes an awesome corner bump. It was incredible. Like, literally doesn't get the credit he deserves. Like, everybody remembers him, for his mic skills and, commentary work. But goddamn, dude, when he had to lace those boots up, it was awesome. Shortly afterwards, though, Warrior just demolishes him and pins him. 1, 2, 3, it's over. There is no Hogan-style celebration for Warrior. He pumps the air a couple times, takes his belt, and he runs back to the back. And the great thing was, Heenan was on his way back, and he just mows him over. That is the greatest thing ever. Say what you want about Warrior's personality or whatnot. I don't agree with it, I'll be honest with you. I know he's dead now, and so, people are they kind of see him in a different light when people is dead. They're like, well, he's dead. So he's a legend. You can't talk ill about him. I say, well, no, what he did was shit. He did some shitty things. Maybe he wasn't quite as appreciative of what, was given to him, right here. But as a kid, and I'm watching it, and I don't know any of this shit, entertaining as fuck. Dude, watching him just mow over Heenan in the aisle, great. This is great. So, yeah, let's get to some Fallout, shall we? The Warrior... the thing is, this is his first main event, and I feel like he's one of those guys who was always a main eventer stuck on the mid-card prior to this. Like, you watch him in any of those matches, so, the SummerSlam, especially, I guess, from SummerSlam 89 all the way back to SummerSlam 88, you watch any of the matches, it feels like, no, he's already a big deal. Like, he is already top of the mountain almost. Only thing he's missing the world title. That's it. Like, but he's already cemented his spot up there. So they give him the ball like this. Hogan, who is the world champion, I should remind you, he's the world champion, and he gets mid-card status on this pay-per-view, and they put Warrior in the top spot. And he takes it, and he slam dunks it like he does. Like, it's a good match. So, he hits it out of the park here. And, of course, his popularity keeps growing and growing, and, of course, his push keeps going more with it. And he would eventually go on to WrestleMania in a title versus title match against Hogan. But guess what? We will talk about that at a later date. This, of course, like I mentioned earlier, this was Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard's last appearance. I guess, Tully didn't appear at all, but, their last, hurrah here. I don't think Tully went back to NWA, did he? Like, didn't he? I think he made sporadic appearances, but they didn't really hire him back full time, did they? I don't know. If you guys know, drop it down below, but I don't remember. But I know Arn Anderson would go back to the NWA at this point. And then, of course, Andre, he would team up with Haku. At this point, they've teamed up, sporadically, periodically from time to time before this, but this is their first big fucking match together. And it wasn't too long after this that they actually formed an official tag team, the Colossal Connection, because Heenan needed a tag team to fill the void of the Brainbusters gone, and he filled it with the Colossal Connection. I remember as a kid thinking, because once again, I don't know what's really going on, but I remember thinking like, I'll tell you now, I always thought of Haku as like a jobber. And it's funny because from what I understand, that dude's like the toughest fucker in the locker room, period. Like, seriously, the dude, like, he was just fucking savage and shit. Like, he was fucking beast. And, but as a kid, I don't know, stories, I see him on TV all the time, and he would win, like, on Superstars and Wrestling Challenge and shit. But he get in a pay-per-view, dude, he lost every fucking time. Like, he was a jobber. He was. A little more high-profile jobber, but jobber nonetheless. And I remember even thinking then as a kid, like, whenever him and Andre teamed up, thinking like, well, that'll do Haku some good. Like, he's going to, Andre's going to help him out. Little did I know that in real life, Andre actually just needed a partner because, once again, His health was rapidly declining, so it gave him a chance to be out there, still compete, but for the most part hang out right there on the ring apron while Haku wrestled the matches for him. And then of course he comes in maybe once or twice a match and usually finishes it off or whatever. But I didn't know that at the time. Like at the time I was like, man, Andre's really helping Haku out here, but then in real life is Haku helping Andre out. But either way, it worked. They would go on to win the tag titles from Demolition. However, it wasn't a long reign because Demolition would reclaim those tag titles at WrestleMania 6. And then this would pretty much be the end of Andre teaming with the Heenan family. He was eventually turned face, but that didn't last long either because unfortunately his health and his career and unfortunately his life would start coming to a stop. But no one ended on Elimination, so we'll move past that. Anyway, so what I think about this match overall, I liked it. It's entertaining as fuck. This like I said, to me, especially like 88, 89 to 92, to me are like fun. Like those are like my childhood years. Don't get me wrong. From there on, also I like everybody shits on the new generation, but to me that was classic. To me, like that's my classic jam. And then of course when the Attitude Era comes, I was in junior high at that time, so it was. Wrestling was cool for the first time ever. Like, when I was in elementary school, no one liked wrestling. Fucking kids, 8-year-old kids were just like, that's fake, right? So, yeah, junior high rolls around, Attitude Era, it's great. So, don't get me wrong, I like different eras for different reasons, but to me, like, when I think of pro wrestling, like, you say, like, hey, childhood pro wrestling, it's that end of the golden era or Hogan era or whatever you want to call it, and then, of course, the beginning of the new generation. That's, to me, is my prime favorite spots. So yeah, like I said, I watched this match. It just kind of brings back a lot of good memories, and it's just a fun time. And this match worked. It served its purpose because once again, I wouldn't say it launched Warrior to the main event level because he was already there. Like he already felt like a main eventer. It just more or less cemented him in the main event status. Taking out Andre early on, then eventually taking out two people back to back, even if one was a manager. The fact that the match went for like 20 minutes. So granted, he didn't have to wrestle the whole 20 minutes himself, but I think it was a good showing for Warrior. I really do. And then of course you got to see Shawn Michaels in the main event and Haku and Arn Anderson, Andre. So it was a fun match, and it had a lot of good names to it. So overall, I enjoyed it. So I'm a fan. So. Let me know what you guys thought about the match. Drop the comments right down below. And that's all I got. Guys, no main event tomorrow night. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm taking next week off from the main event as well. Don't fear, all my regular stuff will be here. I'll still be doing WCPW related stuff. And we'll still be doing the Mid-Card Mania. But I'm just taking tomorrow and the next weekend off from the main event. But we will be back after that. And we're going back to the NWA, and it is going to be Starrcade. So, Starrcade 89. I don't know if they had a subtitle or not. It don't matter. It's fucking NWA. That's all I got. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Till next time.